Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending this. It looks like pretty early session, but it's very nice to have this audience today attending precisely this collaboration between all the people in this panel today, making some time out of their agendas. They're all coming or going somewhere today or tomorrow, so I'm very highly involved in tech and healthcare from different angles. So the session will be just debating on how tech and life science and medical device and technology and pharma are approaching the opportunities that technology and science are offering us in the market. So I'm Josep Sanfeliu. I'm a venture capitalist now for 15 years. I've been investing in biotech and health tech. Most of my experience is precisely in health tech, which is what Asabys is. Asabys Partners, the venture capital firm I founded in 2018 together with Clara Campas. That's what we do. So we are constantly meeting opportunities in between the tech and the healthcare world. That means pharma, that means biotech, that means medical devices, that means digital therapeutics. There's sessions today and tomorrow, and yesterday and today about precisely this area. But let's start discussing already around the topic, and I think you're going to have a good time sharing, the guests sharing with you their views on this topic, and then we will leave you guys to send us some questions or just comments about what you've heard or what you think. So I will let my colleagues, Sofia Nash from Inbrain, Neuroelectronics, here today, representing a high-tech healthcare company. Albert Farré from Novartis, probably the most incumbent in the healthcare space of the panel today, Novartis. And Marc Benaiges, the most probably tech of this panel today at Capgemini, LifeSciences. So I think the floor is yours to let us know exactly who you are, where you come from, and what do you do in your own organizations. So, Sofia?
So my name is Sofia Nash, as already mentioned. I am originally from Israel. I moved here 5 months ago to join Inbrain, Neuroelectronics. I am a biomedical engineer by education. I've been working in the medical device industry for the last 15 years in different companies, all previous to Inbrain, based in Israel, although very international companies. So I've worked for company that developed life-sustaining equipment, mechanical ventilators, which was acquired by GE Healthcare. Later, I worked for a company that developed end-tidal CO2 monitoring device that was acquired also by Medtronic. Then I worked for another company that developed drug and device combination device for treatment of Parkinson's disease that was also acquired by a large pharmaceutical Japanese Mitsubishi Tanabe company. And later, before joining here, I worked for a startup that was founded in Israel but then headquartered in Ireland, in Galway, and developed a catheter-based treatment for heart failure. At Inbrain, should I talk about Inbrain as well, or?
Here.
Sorry. Can you hear me well? Yeah? Okay. So should I talk about Inbrain already?
Yeah, please.
Or yeah. So Inbrain Neuroelectronics develops intelligent systems for decoding and modulating neural networks. So our brain interfaces are based on a novel graphene electrodes, and we develop both cortical and subcortical implants for treatment of brain disorders, primarily Parkinson's, bradykinesia, essential tremor, and other disorders. And we couple that also with high intelligence data processing systems, so things like machine learning, AI, to provide better patient treatments. So that's.
And you just arrived in Inbrain recently, right? But
yes, 5 months ago.
You're having the first experience in health tech in Barcelona now.
Yes, first time here in Barcelona. It's been very exciting, and the company Inbrain is very, very multinational, and it's very it's very nice to be part of this diverse group that develops a really complex and really high-tech, an intersection between deep tech, healthcare, and really neuroscience is like the edge of the technology. So it's really been interesting. So
good. So not only tech meets life sciences, but Tel Aviv meets Barcelona. So, and now let's move to California meets Barcelona. You spent some time over there.
Exactly.
But you're working here from Barcelona. So just tell us, Albert.
Yeah, thanks, Josep. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. My name is Albert Farré. I'm from Barcelona, but again, I've lived over 10 years between Switzerland, Germany, and in the US, in California, where I've lived also in Silicon Valley. I'm an engineer by background, and then have experience in consumer goods and pharma, in marketing, digital, sales, strategy, several roles. And I recently, no microphone? Okay, now we have problems with the sound today. So I recently just landed a new role here in Spain. I come from Switzerland, and I'm the new head of business excellence and customer engagement for Novartis in Spain. I think everyone knows what Novartis does. So instead of talking about Novartis, I'm going to talk about something that we do care about at Novartis. Oh. Is it me or is it the batteries? Or I'll continue. So something that I do care about and we care about at Novartis, which is that today patients are dying for no good reason, right? And I think that's something that impacts all of us and families and friends and even us at some point, right? And by dying for no good reason, I mean that people are dying for preventable diseases because they cannot get to the right treatment at the right time. If you look at statistics, if you look at the market research, you see that patients, for some diseases, it takes them 5 to 10 years to get to the right doctor, the right diagnostic, and the right treatment, not even considering adherence or compliance. And I'm not saying this to blame it on the healthcare system, which I think, at least in Spain, we can be blessed of how good and excellent the system is. This is something that we all in healthcare should care about. And I think every time that I hear that someone dies from melanoma or someone dies from a second or third or fourth heart attack, I think it's on us, right? And I think we should have been able to prevent that. And on the positive side, though, I think that this is what technology is here for, and this is where technology and tech meets life sciences. I think that's the actual solution to this problem, and that's what we're trying to do at Novartis and what my unit on the commercial end is trying to do, which is via innovation, via partnerships with the system, using new artificial intelligence to better engage with customers, how we can actually accelerate the patient journey so we prevent those deaths. I think for now, I'm going to leave it here, and then we'll continue the panel.
Good, thank you, Albert. And Marc, from tech to tech, and life sciences is your business, right?
Yes. My name is Marc Benaiges. First of all, please, let me say thank you to Josep and to the organization to be here, to give us the opportunity to be here, because I think it's a fantastic event, a fantastic building, and an amazing round table, okay? So my name is Marc Benaiges. I am the responsible for the life science business in Capgemini, Spain. This means all the business that is related mainly with biopharma companies and medtech. Well, I am an industrial engineer. I live in Barcelona. I am a Barcelonian guy because I live here. But I spent over 20 years in Capgemini, okay, working in international projects, mainly in Europe, Nordic countries, France, but also Belgium and Switzerland. Developing several roles from delivery to sales, from innovation director to head of life science. I think it's quite relevant to say that the responsible for the life science sector in Capgemini is based here in Barcelona, because here in Barcelona we have, let's say, several IT hubs, digital hubs, IT financial hub from big companies, big biopharma companies. And also we have a healthy and really good startups ecosystems and investors and research institutes from hospitals, relevant hospitals worldwide, well known. And well, Capgemini, let's say, put the focus here, and I think it's important. About Capgemini, I assume that more of you know this company, but at the end of the day, we are an international company, more than 350 employees around the world, more than 50 countries. Our purpose is unleashing the human energy through technology for an inclusive and sustainable future. And this means that we are, let's say, focused on how to help our customers to be better in the sustainable, let's say, or to be a sustainable enterprise. We have our own commitments related to sustainability, carbon neutral in 2025, net zero in 2050. We want to help our customers to save 10 tons of CO2 in 2030. And related to the life science, because it's the focus of the roundtable today, well, we have a global approach, global expertise to provide end-to-end solutions from the business transformation, but also using the digital technology services from a strategy to implementation. And I would like to explain one example of this related the Future for Care initiative, okay? What is Future for Care? Future for Care is a joint venture that we launched 2 years ago in Paris with Sanofi, with Orange, and with Generali to, let's say, to support 150 startups until 2025 to develop or to help in the development until they reach the market in a federated ecosystem with all the stakeholders in the healthcare community. Okay? And this is an example of what we are doing. Later, we will go in deep with the details. Okay?
Good, thank you for letting the audience know what you do, what the organizations do. So Barcelona, my view here is, and I would like to hear some examples of how healthcare and tech are meeting. I have to say that from a standpoint of what we are seeing at Asabys, we do see a lot of deal flow, high quality. My personal vision here and Asabys' vision is that Barcelona has a special positioning in digital and tech and health tech in general. There's so many opportunities there, not only because of the market, but the track record of the city in technology and in healthcare, in their different backgrounds, is spectacular. It's nothing that you can compare in many places in Europe. Obviously, we have a lot of tech entrepreneurs downstairs, around here, and this is a more visible type of companies, right? You have globals and you have unicorns that are landing here or starting from here already. But you also have the pharma industry. Novartis has been in Barcelona for decades, let alone the Grifols of this world or the Almirals of this world and the activity in hospitals and clinics, right? So it's like the ingredients for the meetup of tech and life sciences is like obvious, right? I would like to ask the audience, how many in the audience come from pharma or real healthcare? Can you raise your hand, please? So it looks like 1/3. And the others, I assume, raise the hand if you come from pure tech, only tech. Okay, so it's, well, the rest is like you're probably in between already in both segments. Great, thank you. So let's give us an example in each of your cases. Probably, Alberto, you can start with how you are using tech in Novartis and how is Novartis considering tech?
So I think we're considering tech in two areas, right? Because a key piece of what we do at Novartis, obviously, is deliver high-value drugs. And that's our core business, and that's where most of our technological advances go. And here, a critical example is we are, as part of our pipeline, we have 3 what we call key technology platforms at the cutting edge of technology and science, which are xRNA, our cell and gene therapy, and radioligand therapy, which at least me being an engineer, I'm passionate about the last one, where you put together a radioactive isotope with a ligand, inject that ligand into the body, and then the ligand is able to find some cancer cells, and with the radioactivity kills the cancer, right? So obviously we're always at the forefront of technology when it comes to deliver, create, manufacture the high-end drugs. But also said that it's not just about manufacturing or doing research, it's about doing the clinical trials, it's about commercializing those drugs. And here we have multiple partnerships across the board with Microsoft, with Amazon, with Tencent in China, where we're trying always to advance and accelerate the patient journey. Examples may be for remote monitoring of clinical trials, for example, where we try to get to more people in areas where you usually don't get into clinical trials. Or we use artificial intelligence in the commercial end to better tailor the messages that we use to physicians or to patients, again, so they are able to identify patients faster and get them on the right treatment as fast as possible. I don't want to extend, there's several examples that we have, but those are a few of what we do.
Sofia?
Yeah, so we have, first of all, as I was mentioning, our device is based on graphene electrodes. So first of all, we produce thin films. So thin films is based on, obviously, high technology in terms of electronics and producing these wafers that are required as part of our manufacturing of the device. So that's one end. And then obviously this is an intersection between actually using electronics and interpreting biological signals. So we have brain signals that are biological signals that are then translated to electrical signals, and then we use AI and data processing to combine this into an actual therapy, and use the stimulation and recording to better tailor the treatment for our patients. So this is an entire package that's intended to deliver a higher quality treatment for serious brain disorders.
So that's combining a new material, telecommunications, computer science,
yes,
and therapy.
Deep tech and implantation, biocompatibility with the brain tissues, and then interpreting the signals, so data processing, post-processing, so all of it from start to finish is really,
So
I guess,
implanting the electrode in the brain is just the start?
it's just the start, yeah. I mean, it's part of the process, but also it starts from the science, then the implantation, and the biocompatibility, then the data processing, and then the monitoring and making sure that you adapt the treatment as, individually to the patient's needs, because that's the next steps in this type of treatment, is to actually be able to adapt the treatment to the specific patient condition, because then I think this is the next step in healthcare in general, where you're really adapting or individualizing the treatment with the help of deep machine learning and AI. So.
Good, thanks.
So if I may, that's very interesting, right? Because we're going to treat people differently via personalized medicine or via the radionuclear therapy that I mentioned, right? And that's going to force us to think again on what does a patient do, what does the healthcare system do, rethink all the processes, and here, and I'll let Capgemini, they are experts in digitally transforming industries, but here is actually where tech, digital, and the expertise that companies like yours have to actually change and allow these personalized treatments to see the light.
Yes, definitely, Albert. Really interesting what you say, Sofia. Let me give you a couple of examples. Really close what you explained, both of you, related to machine learning, deep learning, artificial intelligence, these kind of things. The first one is one that we have published recently in collaboration with University Hospital Bonn and Amazon Web Services. Is related to the river blindness disease. The river blindness disease, that I think in Spanish is called onchocercosis, affects 20 million people, okay? And increasing due to the climate change, because let's say the climate change facilitates the environment of the black fly that spreads this disease in the tropics area. Okay, what we have done there, at the end of the day, we have created an artificial intelligence solution based in deep learning to process, let's say, to identify the larva worm, okay, using clinical data and processing more than 70,000 sections of clinical data that already is available to identify these worm sections in a microscopic images with almost 90% of accuracy. So the ability to automate all this process and all this such a high number of information allows us to unlock the potential and a faster and a more consistent assessment for the efficacy of the drug. Okay? Another example is one that we have done here in Barcelona, okay, by a biopharma company related to clinical trials and how artificial intelligence can improve, well, help and accelerate the whole process. Okay? In this case, we are not using deep learning, we are using machine learning, okay, to, let's say, to follow the behavior of the patients, taking into account the dose of the drug that we are, let's say, providing. Okay? And not only the machine learning, but also adding virtual twins to follow the individual treatment effect rather than the average treatment effect. And this is one clear example that for us is what is a patient-centric view. Okay? At least is what we understand as patient-centric view. And in both cases, cloud and data has been the key drivers to the success. Okay?
Good. Thank you. Thank you for these examples. I think the audience, we would like to leave the audience to get any comments to the panel. But before that, I would ask the three guest speakers that if they could just send a message of things that you're worried about, or things that you consider opportunities or challenges, or if there's anything we're missing. There's a lot to do here to consolidate this ecosystem. In tech, there's a lot of advancement. In healthcare also, I mean, if you look at the buildings that are devoted to biotech, and Parc Científic de Barcelona is full. There's no room in Parc de Recerca Biomèdica in la Vila Olímpica. And by the way, the new building of Tech Barcelona in Via Laietana 26, where is, by the way, is where I'm putting my offices, our offices very soon, is also again getting filled. So it's like there's things are happening, and the industry and the tech health is growing. That building will be only devoted to health and tech, but still there are things missing, and there's a lot of things to be addressed. Do you want to share some of your views that you are confronting probably every day?
Yes, I mean, I think that in general, in healthcare industry, everybody's faced at one point with the regulatory hurdles in terms of getting the device into market. But specifically within Inbrain, I think we're, or in general, when you're making disruptive technology and specifically involving AI and data processing and all these newer topics into the regulatory process, it's even more challenging because this is the transitional phase in terms of the regulatory approvals, and sometimes it can get unpredictable with level of testing, level of evidence that would be required to put the device on market. So it's a shift in the view in terms of incorporating, how to incorporate AI into medical devices, and I think the regulatory processes are only starting to catch up with this new phase, and that's, I think, one thing. And the other thing is also with healthcare. There's when you're introducing with us, we're introducing basically a new procedure, a new therapy procedure. So it's not the standard care right now. So we would have to work with the physicians to introduce new procedures and new therapies once it's applicable. So that's another challenge.
Thank you. A brief comment.
Yeah, we could be talking for hours, so that's the problem. So something that concerns me, I've been talking about advancing or accelerating the patient journey, but the truth today is that healthcare as an experience for a patient is painful. It's not something that people are looking for, or people that no one is looking forward to go to the doctor. And when I look at other industries, Netflix, Amazon, or Apple, all of them succeeded by making things extremely easy from a point of view of someone to get what they wanted to do. So I think the true revolution on unlocking tech and digital to really change healthcare is going to come where we make healthcare very easy for patients, and we make it very easy for patients to stay healthy and get the treatment. So for me, that's something that I'll try to do, and I look forward on happening in the future.
From the technology, let's say, point of view, for us, without any doubt, the new challenge or opportunities are quantum computing, okay? Because in Capgemini, we have, let's say, several offerings, but focus on life science, drug discovery, using data, artificial intelligence, but quantum will definitely change the game, okay? It's a change gamer, definitely. We were just explaining several examples with machine learning, deep learning, artificial intelligence, using data, cloud, but quantum will allow us to do things really, really, really different, okay? Imagine to solve an issue in 1 second instead of 1 week, okay? And this is not an evolution of the conventional computers, okay? This is totally different. It's a different kind of technology, okay, that will allow us to do things that conventional computers are not able to do, okay? And for us, this will be the key point. Okay? And in Barcelona, I think that there is another session with somebody from the Barcelona Supercomputing Center. Is well positioned in this field because thanks to the European funds, they will create in the Barcelona Supercomputing Center a specific quantum computer, okay?
Good, thank you. So I hope the organization is not going to kill me, but since we started 2 minutes late, not because of our fault, I'm going to use the time, like in the World Soccer games, to allow the audience to comment or ask any pressing question, anything like 2 minutes that you want to share. Okay, great, thank you. We have someone here, yes. We're out of time, but we will try to be brief.
Quick question. Like, it's more related to the market that we have here. Do you think Barcelona has any unique differentiator that we shall focus more in digital or less in pharma, or more in pharma and less in digital in the mix? If there is any advantage unique for Barcelona that we should leverage more than that we are not doing, for example?
Well, from my point of view, I mentioned before, we have clearly the talent, we have clearly the ecosystem, because we have, at least from our point of view, big companies in this field, biopharmas mainly, so let's say Roche, Novartis, Boehringer, Sanofi, so these big companies, but also we have several accelerators, like Tech Barcelona, Barcelona Health Hub, this kind of accelerators with good startups, and we have also good research institute in the hospital, medical, that allows us to do real interesting and disrupting things.
If I have 2 minutes, I can add, but
Yeah, 20 seconds.
Then I think you've been on the positive side. For me, on the building, I think more focus probably. We have, again, many centers, lots of great collaboration across hospitals. But when I compare it to a pharma company, if I were to compare Barcelona to pharma, we have a great pipeline. We're failing sometimes to maximize the value market of that pipeline, right? On the go-to-market, we're not extracting that value, which is a position that we Novartis were as, like we're now a few years ago, and the decision we took was we have to narrow down our approach, focus on less disease areas where we actually have all the right tools, the right knowledge, the right people to advance and lead, because today you can only launch a product if you're really going to lead in that space. So that's something, I'm not saying it's a solution, but something to explore really. Can we focus on less areas where we can be worldwide experts in those areas to then maximize the value of the pipeline?
Good, thank you. I'm getting signals that we have to close now, so thank you everyone for attending the session. Thanks the panelists for joining us.
Thank you.
And thanks Tech Spirit. Hope the day goes well for everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.